With free agency right around the corner, I thought this was as good a time as any to talk about some free agents the Raptors could really benefit from. What's up everybody, it's JJ Buckets. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're talking about free agency, so just before I fully get into things, usual drill, like the video, helps the algorithm out a lot and I truly do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, plus if you plan on doing any responsible sports betting in the near future, just make sure to check out my link in the description below. So the list of names here are mostly going to be mid-level exception guys that I think could really benefit this team overall. And I'm going to throw out a couple of honorable mentions, but I do want to say as I throw them out, there's not a huge difference, I would say, between the two honorable mentions and the number, I'd say like 3 and 2 spots that I'm going to go through on this list. It's going to be 2 honorable mentions and 3 guys overall in terms of the actual list. But yeah, there's not a huge difference between the 2 honorable mentions and the 3 and the 2 spot. The number 1 spot I think is the only one that like definitively in my mind separates himself from the rest of the group here, and obviously I will talk about why. For the honorable mentions, I want to throw out Harrison Barnes and Lonnie Walker. So Harrison Barnes is, a better version, much better version, quite frankly, of Otto Porter Jr. Obviously, very versatile player defensively, offensively, gives you a good scoring punch, gives you a good kind of like, and I don't want to say like end of the lineup option to score, if that kind of makes sense. Just a good support piece, I would say, in any unit that can just fit seamlessly. Again, he's Otto Porter Jr. without the injury problems. A better version of Otto Porter Jr. And as far as Lonnie Walker goes, this is a guy that's young enough that I think there's still some real intrigue here, and as far as what he can do, he's a great scoring punch off the bench, athletic enough to be a decent defender as well, so there's a lot to like there. And yeah, I think either one of those guys would be a good help for Toronto. Now, you'll see a theme here with the names that I throw out for the top 3. The first one is going to be Caris LeVert. Now, Caris LeVert has had some injury troubles recently, which it's going to be a bit concerning, obviously, but if you are comfortable with the fact that you feel like he's healthy and good to go, Caris LeVert would be I don't want to say fantastic, but he'd be a good scoring punch off the bench for the Raptors. Look, the Raptors have needed backup guard play for, hell man, it feels like forever. It's probably not that long. I mean, it's not that long since, you had Fred VanVleet coming off the bench, but then again, that title was a while ago, so it has been a little bit of time. Anyways, you need backup guard play. You've needed backup guard play on this team for a while, and Caris LeVert, I think, is somebody that can comfortably slide and play in lineups either at the 1, at the 2, at the 3, again, really depending on what lineup you're running. He's somebody that can run any of those spots, I'd say, fairly comfortably. Obviously not all to the same level, but again, I think he's going to give you good scoring off the bench. I think he'll give you a little bit of playmaking as well, and he's a decent defender. Like, Caris LeVert, I think, is a good bang for your buck type of player here. If you just want a guy to fill that role, again, that I think the Raptors have tremendously needed help with over the past few years, Caris LeVert, there's going to be a lot worse options than him to, just bring him off the bench, look at Caris and say, hey, run some offensive plays for us, get us some buckets when the offense stalls out, find your own buckets, maybe find some teammates for some shots. He's a good player to fill that role, and I think it would be a very seamless transition for the Raptors to plug him into lineups and get him going with this team. Now, this next one here is going to be a name that I feel like we've already heard linked to Toronto a little bit, and it's Gabe Vincent. So again, theme here, right? Like, guard play. Gabe Vincent has been kind of targeted as a potential replacement. If obviously Fred is gone and out the door, Vincent can come in and at least, not to the same level by any means, do the things that Fred does, but he can at least do a little bit of the things that Fred does. Again, with him, I think it's the shot making and the shooting from the outside that you're most intrigued about, and he's a scrappy defender on the other side, so he's a guy that I think would fit right in with the Raptors, and the things that he brings to the table, I think the Toronto Raptors could really benefit from. Like, I think you'd really enjoy having a guy like Gabe Vincent come off the bench, similar to, some of the other guys here that I've talked about. For the most part, like, this list is going to be bench players, essentially, right? Like, I don't think you're really looking at any of these guys as starters, because, again, like, I think if Fred VanVleet is gone, realistically, you're probably looking at Barnes at the point guard position, and obviously you can argue how well that's going to work out, but I guess only time will tell. But regardless of that, sorry, the main point here being that, you know, these guards that I'm throwing out here as names are probably going to be like the backup guards that come off the bench. And again, like in that role, I think there's a lot worse names that you could look at as Gabe Vincent. He had a solid playoff run here for Miami, and overall, he's just a really good role player. I think that any team would be lucky to have. And for Toronto, I think he'd be a really good one. Again, in terms of fitting the culture, fitting what the team does, and he would really complement a lot of the other pieces on this team. So I like Gabe Vincent. Again, I think easy transition into the team, does a lot of the things that you're probably lacking, you're probably wanting from that position, so go for it. And as for the names of free agents and essentially role players that I like best in this free agency class that I would love to see the Raptors target, number one is going to be Donte DiVincenzo. Look, I am a huge fan of Donte DiVincenzo's game. I think he's such a good role player for so many reasons. Donte DiVincenzo, first of all, I love that he plays really within the flow of the offense, right? I mean, obviously he plays with Golden State, so it's kind of easy to say that, right? Like in terms of the offensive system that they have there, it's great. But because he plays so well in that system, I think, you know, Darko, who's going to prioritize, you know, ball movement, kind of like taking the right play, getting the right opportunity. I think Donte DiVincenzo fits perfectly into that in terms of how he plays the game. Like, he's not a particularly selfish player by any means, so perfect in regards to that. A decent enough playmaker, you know, to move the ball and get people their looks, but also really solid shooter as well, which obviously, again, we know the Raptors need shooting. They've addressed that by, you know, drafting Grady Dick, which again, chef's kiss, great pickup. And again, I think you can keep building on that, you know, keep getting guys that are good shooters to space the floor, you know, for Pascal Siakam, for Scotty Barnes, for these guys that want to be in the paint and get their buckets there. I think bringing in Donte DiVincenzo goes a long way to aiding that, right? Like, again, good shooter. And on top of that, the thing I'll always look at as well, especially with the Raptors who have built their culture on this pretty consistently, he's a very good defender as well. Again, like just in terms of role players, in terms of, I'd say, like some of the boxes that you want to tick for a Toronto Raptors team, I think Donte DiVincenzo fits most of those boxes. And again, he addresses the backup guard need. Like, this is a guy that you bring in off the bench and you're comfortable that he's going to bring stability to how the offense is going to be run. He's going to get his own points. He's going to get guys set up. He's going to play good defense. Like, I look at a guy that just screams, I think, Toronto Raptor, and to me, Donte DiVincenzo screams Toronto Raptors. So I think above all these other names, personally speaking, I would love to see DiVincenzo on this team. Tremendous fit, just hand in glove, really. So those are a list of names for me. Is there anybody that you feel like I missed that is glaringly obvious? If there is, drop it in the comment section below, or otherwise just let me know how you feel about some of the names that I've thrown out and who your favorite amongst the bunch is. Yeah, let me know all that in the comment section. And besides for that, again, we're at the end of the video, so the usual drill is going to get reiterated. If you still haven't done it and you're still watching, like the video. Again, helps the video out so much in terms of performance. Like, you folks, actually, I'm sure you do know, because I feel like every YouTuber says it a lot, but trust me, it makes such a big difference. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been JJ Buckets. It's been a pleasure, and I will see everybody next time.